The Falls Count Everywhere podcast would like to mention our friends at the following. For the most intriguing wrestling stories and info on independent shows in multiple regions, nobody does it like We Talk Wrestling. Subscribe to Facebook's #1 interactive community for professional wrestling today. Pro wrestling on Tuesdays are a blast with the Wrestle Talk podcast. Join the entire crew every Tuesday at 7 p.m. as they bring their takes on the major circuits, showcase interviews with various indie stars, and news on the #1 fantasy wrestling promotion, the FWWC. Visit them at facebook.com/WrestleTalkPodcast and at WrestleTalkCast on YouTube and X.
All of us here show appreciation and love to our first responders, military, and volunteers that help our nation as well as protect and serve us every day. Thank you for all you do.
Get ready for episode number 187 of the Falls Count Everywhere podcast as we welcome the young, ambitious MC with the desire to bring a strong, positive light into the world of professional wrestling, getting the skinny on the good deeds the most renowned stars are doing for various communities. From Wrestling with Heart, Stanley Karr.
Welcome to the Falls Count Everywhere podcast. The show starts in
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Go!
Welcome to the show. Buckle up tight. Rough-cut Rick Ruby in the spotlight. Shell City Mouthfits breaking it down. Best wrestlers podcast in this town. Blood and sweat in every word. Echoes of the ring, haven't you heard? Wrestling tales, raw and true. Podcast alive, bringing it to you.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our first show here in April. We're 3 months down. We got 9 to go here in 2025. If you're not doing it already, let's go ahead and share that show, everybody, for those who are watching us in the chat. And I'm kind of trying to muddle things here together here, as I've had kind of a celebratory, but yet kind of a long, and now it's coming down to a weekend where I'm struggling bit. So, yeah. Yeah, so I'm kind of struggling a bit here. But I am Rough Cut Rick Ruby here on the left here, and of course, to the right, as always, my inimitable co-host, the lovely and the talented, and I don't know, I was about to say vivacious. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. The Gem City Mouse, the Zmiz.
There is no flashing lights, man. There is nothing.
Remember, if you were watching last week, you would have told you that he had
it.
Oh, there you
go.
It back. That works.
Yeah.
Are they back now?
Yeah, but I forgot about it this time.
You know what? That kind of looks like you're being pulled over on OP Live, man. Just our cops.
Side alert! Side alert! Oh God.
Oh man, but guys, go ahead and share that show, and we'll like I said, we're gonna have our guest here in just a minute, Stanley Karr, who's gonna be joining us, and of course, Stanley's done quite a bit in the community of professional wrestling, and also we'll talk about the business side of things, as well as we always like to do with our guests that we usually interview, because they're in some way or aspect involved in the wrestling business one way or the other. So talking about weekends, man, has yours been not that eventful, Z? I mean, I know we've this past week has been really wet and really come down with rain.
So it's been like wet and damp and like just chill. So the kids and I kind of been just hanging out. We watched Star Wars yesterday, went and visited my grandparents for a little bit. Nothing too major. Just keeping it docile, keeping keeping the house clear. They've been outside today, though. They were outside wilding out, riding their bikes and stuff. So it's been pretty good. I did a little cleaning, dusted off the toys today. Make sure the displays are looking good around the house.
You mean the figurines and all that?
Heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah. You got these beautiful action figures don't take care of themselves, man.
Yeah.
I like to think I have, the Indian in the cupboard type of house. Like my toys come alive, my action figures come alive at night, but they need dusted still.
Kind of like, they don't act like Toy Story where when nobody's downstairs, they start coming down, they break out rags, and they start dusting themselves off in the shell.
Yeah.
Now that'd be a Toy Story. I like this, Toy Story cleaning.
But no, I crammed in a bunch of wrestling this week. I watched ROH. I watched. I didn't get to SICW tonight. I'll get after this, like usually for me. SICW was tonight, but I watched MLW because they had Battle League last night, or Battle Riot was last night. That was pretty fun. So, good week of wrestling. Congratulations goes out to one of IEW's own. The Dragonfly for making his OVW debut down there. So it's been a good week for a lot of the wrestling community in this area, in my opinion. Great show last night that you got to go to. I've been seeing pictures and stuff creep out of that. So touch on that for a minute. The great show at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds.
Yeah. So SICW was at the Belle Claire Fairgrounds, and that's going to be their last show there for about another 5 months as they do some renovating down there. So they're going to be back in Collinsville for their monthly shows at the bingo hall down in Collinsville, the Fireman's Bingo Hall or whatever. That's a huge place, man. I mean, if you ever saw like a bingo stadium, this is where it would be down in Collinsville. I can't imagine that place going mad. So, but no. Last night, quite interesting. A turn of events on the second half of this. Actually, a turn of events also the first half of the show here too. Apparently, Big Nasty kicked Sean Vincent to the curb last night. So it's Big Nasty riding along with hashtag trending Trent Daniels, and basically. He told them in a nice way to forget your kids, and stop being a role model. And, it's like your career now is, piggybacking off my career. And, it's eventually bound to happen, for those.
I mean, I still don't feel sorry for Mr. Vincent because really this is the monster that he created. But you can't tell me Glenn Williams and trending Trent Daniels are not stars. Like they reek of awesomeness. They're just like killing it down there, getting the hashtags, making SICW famous. What has Sean Vincent done lately? That's right, sit on his couch. So Glenn might be onto something here. We gotta look at it both ways. We gotta look at it both ways.
And also history making last night. A new piece of history that was added to SICW as they were presented with new custom-made SICW Tag Team Championships to Curtis Wilde and Billy McNeil. And, oh, man, I hope that they, or at least Herb Simmons or at least SICW Wrestling Explosion gets a good close-up of these. So this has been the year of, new titles. ACW gets theirs. SICW's now got a new set of titles, and they are really nice. In fact, they did to the fact that one back leather is red and one back leather is blue. So, it's
interesting.
And I like the contrast because SICW, of course, with blue and red, of course. So I like the contrast of the different styles of the leather. And but it's those are some sharp looking belts, and congratulations to them, and like nickel plated, old school looking belts. And
hooty hoo!
Yeah, what's up, AJ?
That's my boy.
The AIWF National Heavyweight Championship was defended last night by the Night Train Gary Jackson as he had a successful title defense against longtime veteran Heath Hatton. There was two gentlemen going in, but apparently Heath didn't like the way he lost last night with a quick crucifix roll up, and ended up spearing Gary out of nowhere after during his celebratory victory. So he didn't get a chance to do the 4 rules last night. So
that's no good. I did see Mr. Herb Simmons holding that beautiful God dang it, too many letters.
ICW?
No. He was holding up
the AIWF title. Yeah,
AIWF title of Gary Jackson and praising his being a part of that great group of people like Mr. Matt Classic and all those guys down through there. Great group. So it's cool to see that.
I'd like to at least want to get a shot at one of those titles and try to travel with it a little bit if I get a chance to win one.
Not our official, but yes, that's what I get down and drink. That's what I get down and drink with. Real kombucha.
Yeah, I'm drinking water and sipping on Hall, so I mean, that's what I'm doing tonight. But yeah, and then let's see. And then of course the last 2 matches, the double main event. I'm telling you, when they said the Top Guns explode, they really exploded last night. An 18-minute battle back and forth between the Strictly Business Brandon Beretta and the Italian Grit Joe Venetti. If you were not there to see it live, you missed out, and it's your fault. So
100%.
And
my wife worked. I wasn't.
Well, you're like over 2 hours away, so.
But I would have been there, man. I wanted to see that match. I wanted to see that match.
And to know where those guys were like 2.5 years ago to where they are now is incredible. And both guys are really starting to mature very well in the business. And actually, Joe Venetti got a very it took a while. I mean, because Brandon did command a lot of that match, but Joe did pull it out at the end. And just these guys, I'm telling you, they just took it to the limit last night for over 18 minutes. And so big win for Joe Venetti, and also trying to get him back on the map here, especially with where that Brandon Beretta has been going. And then also another part of history last night, just out of nowhere. Bobby D now is an official Triple Crown winner. As I don't know, he might be Grand Slam. He might have had the tag titles too.
Didn't him in Texas win them once?
He might have, yeah.
If almost,
I'll have to ask, but he is officially got another piece of hardware to his collection. He has now captured the Classic Heavyweight Championship as he beat Kowalski, and just out of nowhere. And so yeah, and that was surprisingly that was about a 6-minute match, so it caught Kowalski off guard, and so yeah. So a lot of history last night at the SICW Belle Claire Fairgrounds, and so that was a big part of my weekend. And
but
also another part.
No, yeah, I was gonna say you're not getting away. You're not gonna get away. We're not gonna bring on the guest yet. Okay, people. I saw this man send me a picture yesterday, because yesterday we got to take a minute. We need to celebrate this beautiful bald bastard right here that brings us this weekly greatness called Falls Count Everywhere. Proud mentor of mine, but was his 50th birthday yesterday, hitting that great 5-0. And you got a gift from your beautiful wife that you need to show off, my dude, because you have a nerdism for titles. Speaking of great titles out there, show your gift off, my dude.
Yeah, so I just have to conveniently have it right here under my desk. And so yeah, you know how I like, if you see my titles up here, of course, the bottom one's kind of a custom one for promotion that never got off the ground, but I still like it. But you see the NWA World's Heavyweight title, you see the Intercontinental title. I like our old school belts. And my wife didn't at this point with this one.
Look at that gorgeous thing.
So yeah,
beautiful.
So this is the NWA Television Heavyweight Championship. I guess this was put out in 85, if I remember right, possibly. Late 85 or beginning of 86. But yeah, this is the old nickel-plated NWA World Television Championship. and that's going to be going up in the that's going to be replacing whatever's on the bottom there. So I can have an old school row going down there for a while. So it's going to be going up there for a while as a very proud gift from my wife, and a very, very nice title. So
it's gorgeous. I'm so happy. I was you like geeking out and being all. You had such. She posted pictures and videos, and I watched them, and you're just all like, and it made me happy.
Yeah, I think it was a lot. I think it was mainly happy because I didn't have to freaking work yesterday. So I mean,
well, yeah, respect, respect,
mad respect. But yeah, yeah, man. So quite a day I had yesterday, and it's just been cold and damp here, and it's just now I'm trying to deal with why I have a runny nose and all this other stuff, and it's fun, I guess.
But don't let it run too hard.
Yeah, no.
It's saying on Wikipedia, because I just did a quick search on it. It's saying 2019, but that doesn't even, that's not. You're wrong.
Stop looking at Wikipedia. Here's your Wikipedia of wrestling right here, brother. This is all you need to know right here. Is I got your freaking answer. That's what I got. Because I watched TBS.
Okay, that version was 1985.
Thank you.
The NWA Georgia Television Champion started in 1969. Then the National Television Champion was 1979. And then your version is 1985.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, because they had several belts here. They also had they had a National Heavyweight Championship too. That was basically like this, but it was like gold with the nickel plate, but then like gold in the background with the gold silver lettering and all that. So look up NWA National Heavyweight Championship. Buddy Landell held it, Ron Garvin held it, and a lot of the old greats held that title. So, but. No, so this is capping off a little bit of a celebration for me. I just, I don't know. I was kind of wondering how it is going over another plateau in the age bracket, but so far I'm handling it okay. But we'll see as soon as what this weekend comes. Because aren't we kind of busy this weekend?
I have shows. I'm pretty sure you have a show.
Yeah, because let's get to that real quick because I know that, I know that we were pretty busy with that. So, unless if I took them out, did I take them out? I might have took them out. I thought I had the shows. Maybe I just deleted them all.
Well, we can always run it afterwards.
Yeah, I guess we could.
Because I mean,
oh yeah, let's see. I don't know.
We ain't passing over IEW again,
Yeah, I know. So no, let's just. Now I will tell you real quick as. Yeah, no, we're not passing over IEW. So I'm gonna have to get no QR codes here, but the wokebrand.com has relaunched and our merchandise is official. But don't scan those codes because it will take you to a wrong place. So
yep.
I just want to let you know that we are still available with our shirts, getting those up there. And of course, also, it's coming close, man. What are we like? Less than 6 weeks away?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
SACW Fan Fest 3. And actually, they have just made an announcement that on Saturday, May 17th, they are actually opening the doors at 9 a.m. instead of 10 a.m. So we may be adjusting our time as far as when we start our simulcast.
Okay.
Maybe because, I mean, you just don't know. I mean, because people may be waiting. I don't know. I mean, because we may blend in over, and I don't know. I just think we want to be out. We want to be there when they open, get some time to look through everything, and then you'll go on at 11 o'clock. So but we'll definitely have our simulcast. Of course, don't forget about all the great ones now that are listed here. I did get some word that we are having some other legends that are possibly coming as far as now this is rumored. I don't know if
Okay.
it's confirmed, but we're also looking about two other women that may be joining us.
Ooh.
One is from the NWA days, Baby Doll. That
Okay.
was with Tully Blanchard, and of course with Dusty Rhodes and back and forth. And you're gonna love this one, Miss Jacqueline Moore may possibly be maybe at the SHW Fest. I told you.
We were just having a conversation just the other day how I was saying like how she's one of the most underrated women of the Attitude Era. Like,
yeah. And Dr. Jeremy House, right?
yes.
He's actually releasing For the Love of the Show 2 with another fan experience book. So he'll be at the Fan Fest as well.
Can't wait to see you there again, sir.
Yep. So he'll be stopping by as well. And yeah, so awesome for Jeremy to stop by.
Dude, if Jackie's going to be there, that'd be sick.
Is Jacqueline Moore's going to be there? Yeah, that'll be freaking awesome, man. So
I mean, there's one woman, if I can meet her, I will probably cry.
yeah.
And that is Jazz. Like, if I get to meet Jazz, the OG bitch, like that. When Ronda Rousey came down on the scene of Raw, and she was talking about she is that bitch, blah blah blah. I tweeted. I think I said this once. I tweeted out once that Jazz is the true bitch of professional wrestling, and she retweeted it. I was like, yeah, that's my homie.
Now, Skylar, you're gonna ask somebody if that's been that drinks and does marijuana. That if you remember being passed down on the table at a Coliseum in Evansville. He's lucky if he remembers what city he was in. We're talking about Sabu.
He might.
But I like to see him ask that because I like to see that response. So go right ahead. And then also real quick, once again, this. Oh, sorry, Glenn. Yeah, you only got one of those titles. Yeah. Hi, Glenn. Bye, Glenn. Okay.
Sorry,
I'm an
Glenn.
idiot. So this Friday for ACW, make sure you check out American Championship Wrestling on Facebook and, of course, acwtheshow.com. That's where you're going to be able to get your tickets for this show this Friday, April 11th. General admission is $6. Front row is $10. All proceeds go to CASA. And American Championship Wrestling has some good informational videos of what this nonprofit organization is, and working up some proceeds and fundraising for this great company. Basically, working with the foster children and trying to get them adopted in the homes is basically what this is. So. Make sure you check out acwtheshow.com and American Championship Wrestling on Facebook. Find out more about the show once again. And I think bell time is at 6. Oh man, I don't know. I don't have my big shades on today. But was it? Is it? Okay, yeah.
6.
So yeah, make sure you don't pass over this Saturday night.
This Saturday. Yeah, I mean we got Sean Justice versus the Dragonfly Chris Exodus. We have the O'Neal brothers taking on the Kingdom for the IEW Tag Team Championships. That match is going to be like off the chain. Yeah. We have Jesse J taking on, that's 5-star by the way, Jesse J, your IEW Heavyweight Champion, taking on, we don't know yet, for grabs. Oreo taking on Crow, Jody Ultra, Dean Roberts versus Parasite, and much more to come. So, Lazarus Rose versus the one and only Brandon Espinosa too. So a pretty packed card.
Yeah, pretty stacked card. So yeah, so that's enough about us, man. We want to go ahead and get moving on here. We've taken more than I thought of our time here, but it is what it is. But we definitely appreciate the patience of our featured guest that's been waiting in our virtual green room and getting ready to come on here. Um, this young gentleman is definitely a great broadcast. He does broadcasting. He's actually DJ for a radio station around his community, and of course, also speaking about community work, that's what he focuses on when he interviews some of the big names in wrestling, bringing out what these guys are actually doing and bringing out the best qualities of all the big names that have gone into major promotions, and we're going to talk more about that here for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause of the host of the podcast Wrestling with Heart. Please welcome Stanley Karr, everybody. All right, Stanley, how you doing, man?
Hello, how are you? Thank you for having me.
All right, Stanley. Yeah. So just kind of a little background for everybody here, or if I'm missing anything else, you're out of the great state of Tennessee. So I don't know. Is Hendersonville still like in? Are they in Eastern or Central? I forgot.
We're on Central Time. I'm actually based out of Nashville, so it's Middle Tennessee. So
Yeah.
not East. Memphis is in West, and Nashville's in Middle Tennessee. So we're on Central Time. So
Okay. And then because because it's kind of funny because my wife, we went down to Gatlinburg about 3.5 years ago, almost 4, and then we're like, when does this timeline hit? Because we're waiting to go through Chattanooga, then go into then the Gatlinburg, and it's like, okay, so, but yeah, so no, a lot of good things out of the state of Tennessee, and yeah, so I mean that some awesome stuff. So how you doing tonight, man? I appreciate your patience waiting for us, and then
I'm glad.
coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I know we've been talking about doing this for a while now. I'm glad we got it all worked out. So it's good to be here.
Awesome, man. Yeah. So, I kind of gave a little hints about what you kind of do here because you do also. I mean, to kind of, I don't know, is this led up to like kind of wonder what you had first? Did you have your? I mean, because do you actually have broadcasting like school experience to get into to being a radio DJ?
Yeah, I went to community college over in Gallatin, town called Gallatin, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And so I got involved with the radio station there. It's actually where I work now currently, but I went to school there and started getting involved with the radio station. Loved it, picked it up right away. Started doing weekly radio shows at my college, and me being a music lover, always looked forward to doing like trivia, games and engaging with the listeners. And so just grew to love it. So I started doing that. I also started doing a community radio through a low power FM station in town with a show called The Piano Men, which is a 1 hour show devoted to piano players in all genres of music. And I've had on several people. You may or may not have heard of them. There's a guy named Jim Brickman, kind of a pop instrumental performer.
Might have.
John Tesh.
John Tesh I've heard of. Yes.
Yeah. You've heard of John Tesh. He wrote the NBA song.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite sports themes too, man. I love it.
I got to interview him. Got to interview a guy by the name of Michael O'Mardian, who played with Steely Dan back in the day, worked with Christopher Cross, and helped him get his big break. Also, David Sanchez, who was one of the early members of Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band in the early 70s. So I've had on a bunch of people. I've gotten it syndicated on various stations across the country. And about maybe 3 years ago, where I work, my boss was teaching a class on podcasting. So I thought this would be kind of a cool opportunity because podcasting is this hot thing. I jump into it. And I thought to myself, because I've been so ingratiated in music, in the music community, I was like, this is kind of a cool idea to start thinking about maybe doing a wrestling podcast. And as you guys know, you guys have one. There's so much wrestling content out there. And I figured if I do a wrestling podcast, I got to do something that's really never been done before, never been touched on before. And one thing I've noticed that I know that a lot of wrestlers and wrestling companies are very passionate about is charity work and doing stuff in your community and helping others. And that's something I wanted to touch on with Wrestling with Heart, was to focus on the good side of the business, because you hear so much negativity, all these horror stories, dark side of the ring, all that stuff. And I wanted to kind of uplift, the community, uplift people and inspire people. So I've done the show now almost 3 years, and I'm trying. One of my goals for the show is to get it syndicated on radio stations, as well as write books. But I intend to do more with Wrestling with Heart than just have a podcast.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Well, unfortunately, I mean, I wanted to go to broadcasting school just right out of the gate when I was done. I mean, because I figured that's something, because I've always wanted it, because I've always done like voice. I don't know. I guess like back in I may be aging myself here by popping in cassette tapes and try to do like audio biographies and all this when I was growing up. And with my little tape recorder, like in Zach. He's dying over here.
I can just picture you now reading some lady's smut magazine later on down the line. Like,
no, it's nothing like that. I'm talking about I'm not a dirty audible reader. Okay, this was something.
She
that was
slowly pressed at his hair.
Dude, you're so messed up.
I know, it happens.
But no, I mean, no, but that's awesome. So, because with me because I actually eventually did become a DJ, but I became like a mobile DJ, working for a DJ service company. So I'm not, behind sitting at a booth, playing tracks. I'm actually setting equipment up, and I'm actually giving bar mitzvahs. I'm doing weddings. I'm doing school dances. I'm doing anniversary parties. So I'm doing it, and I'm out there freaking leading line dances. So it's like, it's definitely a different cup of tea. I mean, they're both different cup of teas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's fun. I mean, you get to be around a lot of people, and there's a lot of energy involved. I know there's a lot of work that goes into it. So that's awesome.
Wow.
It's funny. It's funny to me because broadcasting, my dad actually worked a radio station here in Quincy when I was growing up as a kid, because I grew up in the music industry. My dad's a sound engineer by trade and did music festivals and whatnot. But for a short bit, he was doing a radio station, and I remember doing that. And then it's funny to now fast forward time, and here I am sitting here doing a podcast talking about wrestling, kind of the same thing he did with music, but doing the podcast world with wrestling. It's quite fun, because I never thought about being in broadcasting. It never was. I wanted to be an explorer. That's what I wanted. That was my main. I wanted to travel as a kid, but now doing this, I want it. Why don't we go back to school, Ruby? We're still young. We can get our stuff. So during your adventures in this broadcasting, Stanley, I actually just recently was watching the Rene Dupree conversation that you guys had about his feud with John Cena and stuff, and how you're supposed to go that way and whatnot. But out of all your guests so far with their charity works and whatnot, who's the one that stepped out, to be the shining light kind of? Is that can we say that? Your charity work's the best, or the one that impressed you the most, or
I've had several people on my show that I feel like have been really good guests. Al Snow was my first guest that I ever had. He was incredible.
I love Al.
Very, very passionate about the sport of wrestling and what he does. Actually helped save a young kid who was lost at sea and was a hero. So good to have that conversation. I got to speak with Stevie Ray about
Oh, that'd be a good one.
in his town of Houston, working with schools and with kids, talking to some kids in his community, working with them. Who else did I have on? Buff Bagwell was another one. He was telling me about his story with addictions and overcoming them, and how he was able to transform his life for the better. Also, Jake the Snake Roberts, good to speak with him, and how he was able to overcome his adversity as well and become a motivational speaker.
All because of one of the greatest hearts in professional wrestling, and I will say that right now. I will go on that hill. I've been in since 2019, so and know this much about professional wrestling when it comes to in the business. But exterior looking in, there's one man that I can think of in this business that has the biggest heart of any person in professional wrestling, and that is our friend DDP, who who brought a Buff Bagwell, Stevie Riggs, all those guys back, Jake the Snake. Buff and I, we were down in, where was that, Arkansas? No, it wasn't Arkansas. Corny, Arkansas. And we met Buff and had the conversation. We talked about that and his love for DDP and the fact that Stevie's killing it now. Like, have you seen Stevie Riggs?
Yeah, I've watched the video that he did with Buff and DDP. It's really an inspiring story to be able to watch that. I'm like, wow, this is so amazing how he's able to transform his life and turn it around. So it's incredible, man. DDP's what he's done, the work he's done is amazing.
Oh man, yeah, I totally agree. And then getting to see him recently when when he was working with Lex.
Yes,
because like I said, because some of these guys, when I go back to August and I see, because I was down in Las Vegas for Cauliflower Alley Club's reunion, and getting to see Lex, getting to see Buff. And in fact, that was my second time. Then I saw Buff 3 times in 2024. He basically knows my face, so he's going to see it again in about 6 weeks. So, but what is amazing is that Lex, of course, is confined to a wheelchair at that time, and and then with DDP working with them, and he seemed to be getting some progress being done, because I do follow DDP and with DDP Yoga on Facebook and all his other his socials. So I'm kind of wondering here, it would be a total godsend when we have the WWE Hall of Fame, Alex is called up, even if it's with a walker, he's walking on his own to go up to the podium at least, or at least get him down to the ramp, ramp him down, and then he walks into the ring. With the, I mean, yeah, but it seems like DDP is doing a lot better. I mean, heck, he got Butterbean, the former tough man boxer. He got him out of the worst shape that he's ever been in. And Butterbean's doing excellent too. So, yeah. So, so I guess one thing that can intrigue me. I mean, and like I said, what your goal and your sights, of course, definitely for the positive light. I absolutely agree. But we always want to tend to kind of wonder what it is, as far as with I know some people know with Dark Side of the Ring and everything else, but I guess my I guess what was kind of your motivation to kind of go to, I mean, I know you said that that you were watching, like you didn't want to go toward that. Is it because maybe you got a chance to watch something like Dark Side of the Ring, or how people just try to put people in a negative light, and what made you got in? I guess one thing is, what made you get into a wrestling podcast? And did you have like any experience in wrestling before you decided to dive in with your show now?
Well, like I said, I actually, the year I started Wrestling with Heart, I had just attended my first WrestleMania. I went to Dallas 2022 when Stone Cold actually wrestled Kevin Owens. And that was just an incredible highlight for me that I'll never forget, because this was like his first match in like 20 years. getting to see that live in person was a moment. It really was something that I'll never ever forget. And then a few months later, I went to SummerSlam, which came to Nashville in July. So
Yeah.
to see that, I mean, right away, I just was like, I was so excited. Like I almost was like, I caught the bug to get involved with the business in some form or another. And me having this radio background, I wanted to kind of combine my two loves. So right as I was taking this class, I was like, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. I've got the music stuff. I'm going to continue doing that. But I think this is a good time to start thinking about doing a wrestling podcast. But if I do a wrestling podcast, I got to do something different. I can't do what everybody else is doing, you know. So that's how I came up with Wrestling with Heart, because you hear these stories about, people, losing their lives and all that stuff, but you don't hear about the human element of the business, what these people can do outside of the ring, how they can inspire people, how they can make a difference in someone's life. And so I wanted to highlight that with the show, with the podcast.
Okay, with that being said, and I'm not taking away from anything, I saw in the internet wrestling community just recently over a dispute, and it has to do with one of WWE's Hall of Fame trophies, the Warrior Award, right? There's people that are actually calling for that to be replaced with the Shad Gaspar Award. How would you feel with something like that happening if they chose to do that? Because, I mean, I was a fan of Shad when he was a wrestler. But what that man did for his son, his family, and the sacrifice that he gave to save his kin, it throws him into another level of yeah, we already knew you were a good dude, but you were a good dude type thing. I think it would be an honorable thing to have something like that for Shad in WWE or any promotion, really.
Yeah, I mean, you want to honor people that have done something heroic and have touched someone's life for the better, for the positive. And Shad definitely was someone that was able to do that. As unfortunate as his passing was, to honor him in a light that is seen as positive and uplifting, I think is good. So. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good idea.
Man. Yeah. So, yeah, no, and as far as with Shad, I mean, the way that he went, and the way that he passed on, to the other side to save his son, and that was a really touching moment. I mean, got the Warrior, he did his time in his business, and you want to do something with Warrior as far as being brave and everything else, and that's why they call it the Warrior Award. To me, either way, I won't be mad with it either way. Myself, if they do it the Shad Gaspard Award, but I don't think there was even, if I can remember, Z, there wasn't even anything mentioned last year with it, was it? Or am I?
I don't recall. I know Shad won the Warrior Award, but I don't remember it being used last year.
I don't think so
at
either.
all. So there's potential something like happen. I just thought it was a hypothetical question when it came to these great people, because even today we were watching MLW and Chris Masters was on there. I can't remember what he goes by now off the top of my head, but he saved a lady from a burning house, and that doesn't get mentioned enough. That man risked his everything to go save. I think it was his grandmother or something like that, right? I can't remember who it was, but so many of these stories, like Stanley was saying, get swept under the rug. These heroic stories these people did outside of the ring for no reason. They didn't have to do it. They didn't have to put their life on the line. They already do it in the ring, or they didn't have to go out of their way to do like Cena and do the hundreds and thousands of Make-A-Wish that man's done. So it is commendable, because for me to see that positivity push out there, because there's so many negatives, there's so much negativity in the world, and to see the highlight. I know people are like, oh, you're not supposed to pat yourself on the back when you feed the homeless. Man, screw you. It's not that. Always, it's it's proving that we can have humanity and still have discussions and whatnot at the same time. And I think it's really cool. I think it's a cool atmosphere that you're creating. And I'm glad you chose us to highlight that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I hope to inspire people. That's kind of the message I want people to take away that watch the show and listen to us is, to do something for others. You may not have thought of it right then and there, but maybe after you listen to an episode or two, maybe you'll think about, going out to your local animal shelter or go volunteer for the holidays, visit, the sick, do something that's meaningful,
Yeah, absolutely. And my thought that I was just thinking here is, if you're doing some type of volunteer work to try to you know to try to gain some like accolade of your own, and just not, I mean, I just feel like your heart's not in the right place if you're trying to do it for some type of recognition that you hope to get. Just go out and do it. I mean, because everything will speak for itself. Um, and of course, a lot of people do it, but you get those few that kind of do that, and it's like, well, then they want to brag about it, because I've actually heard. I mean, I'm not going to mention names, but whether it be like donating to charity, I've given this much to charity, and I mean, my name's not being mentioned, or you know maybe because there's some other things that charity is also focused on as well. So I'm just hoping that, like I said, if everybody's going to help out and do something better to improve the community, like I said, uh, with WWE, there's a lot of other things. Like in the past, like Be a Star. I mean, but that's more like helping with kids. You know, basically helping with some type of community aspect. But WWE has done a lot of community work with having guys go volunteer, because it's kind of cool that you're doing this volunteer stuff. You got these very famous WWE wrestlers that are helping along with you, and they're just taking time out to spend time with you. And yeah, but I mean, like I said, I think that's all done in good heart too, because I think they have. I, I mean, I would think that they ask for volunteers and they're willing to go. If I understand that right. I mean, have you gotten any background on some of the programs that maybe WWE does like that, like helping like certain communities, and you'll see like maybe like a lot of times we see Titus O'Neil, or back in the time we saw like the Big Show, and then even like the Miz would do it, Sheamus would do it. I mean, you would think some of the guys would have to step up to be and fill those roles. If I'm assuming that correctly. I mean, do you know anything about those programs with WWE? I know I'm kind of
Yeah,
putting you on
yeah,
the spot with that, but
yeah. I would. In the past, I would definitely watch some of the video packages that they would show, and it's kind of one of my inspirations for doing the podcast was kind of like putting that light on that aspect. We'll talk about the wrestling career as well, but it's also good to show the human element, and these are very emotional but also heartwarming stories that these men and women are talking about. Um, I remember I had Terry Runnels on my show.
oh
She was
yeah,
she told a story about how she was good friends with this one family, and I believe their son was a huge wrestling fan, but he was going through a severe illness. So I believe this was right around the time WrestleMania was being held in Seattle, I think it was, and I guess like as like the kid's last wish before he passed away was to be able to speak to some of the wrestlers. So she was able to get contacts with some of the talent, and they would have I think like The Rock was able to talk to the kid, and Triple H, and Stone Cold, and a few other people. But it was a very tear jerking and emotional moment, because here's a kid who's going through so much in his life, very very sick, but he's able to talk to his heroes. So that was a very touching story that she was able to help with that.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it just um when yeah, like some of these kids that are just going through some of these with some of these illnesses that are life threatening illnesses, I should say, and they're getting those wishes fulfilled. I mean, we all remember with Connor back around with WrestleMania 30 and how he got a chance to be surrounded in the ring with Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan was his favorite, and that was the whole part of the whole Yes movement, and Daniel winning that the titles at the main event. And then Connor, celebrating with Connor and everything else, and at least he got to have that moment before. I think it was like a matter of months before he had passed. After that, so it's kind of good to get these kids in. And like I said, we can always think about how at times we don't have the best, or like sometimes we don't have some things, but you know, when you think you've got the worst, I'm sure that there's somebody out there that's got it much worse than you would think, and that you can't imagine, and are going through a lot more. Not to say that because we have to find a way to overcome with what we're going through, but try to help others if you can. Um, that's all that I think a lot human nature will cause us to do, um, and to reach out. I mean, it's help thy neighbor, not rob thy neighbor. But because I see that too. Yeah, yeah. Trust me, I've seen some functions with raising doing fundraisers, and yeah, they didn't do so well. Well, supposedly didn't do so well as far as raising funds, and they took more than they were supposed to, as far as like the people hosting the fundraiser. So, oh, like I said, this fundraiser we're going to be going to on Friday. I mean, ACW does very, very well with helping out with communities and reach outs, and if it's a great cause, especially helping out, especially with foster kids and everything else, and getting helping the volunteers that do this. Um, so it's going to be a fun show come Friday, and who knows, some of the kids are going to be coming in and maybe enjoy some good wrestling action. So it doesn't go just around; it can go on the smaller local promotion levels too for all this.
I mean, SICW even does it with the Little Devils um, show that they usually do for the wrestling. The high school's wrestling team, right? Um, there's all kinds of ways about doing it. Now, I'm curious. So you go to your first WrestleMania, and you said 2022, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember you actually coming and joining We Talk Wrestling, my program that I do on Facebook, and you were posting pictures of. It's all coming back to me now. Were you not a fan before that, or is that literally when you became a fan? And who's kind of the go-to? Let's get nitty-gritty now. Okay, we talked about the cool stuff but who's your favorite wrestler currently going in professional wrestling? But I want to know, was that really the first start, or were you kind of tasting with wrestling prior?
Oh, I've been a fan since childhood. Like, I'm about 25 years ago. I when I was about 5 years old, I first caught my first glimpse of wrestling when my dad was having Monday Night Raw on, and I just saw this big, larger-than-life, hulking guy named Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson with his Hawaiian flannel shirt and the sunglasses and the gold necklace, and the rest is history. I started collecting all the toys and everything. I mean, my first live event I went to, I was 9 years old at the time. I was living in Maryland, and watching Triple H in action was a huge highlight. I enjoyed watching that show, and from then on, man, I just kept going to shows. And then once I went to Mania, that was like The show of shows.
So that's when the injection was like the lethal injection of wrestling poison. No, I'm just kidding. Wrestling's not poison.
No, it's not poison.
I've been banned in 2002, bro. What's wrong with you?
Dude, I don't care what anyone says. That's one of my favorite Vince McMahon promos of all time. Is the NWO promo when he does that? I'll inject the lethal injection of poison into my own. Dude, that stuff was amazing. Sorry, Stanley. Continue.
I joined your Facebook group right around that same time when I started the podcast. So that's when I started really getting into the community of wrestling on social media. But I'd always been a fan.
That's awesome. So who's your guy or your gal currently, or both? Like,
man, there's so many people I'm a fan of. I mean, Roman.
Yeah. Okay.
Roman Reigns. I like what he's doing. I was a huge fan of the Bloodline storyline. I think that was a really good angle. Cody Rhodes. I think that he is just gone leaps and bounds and has become such a really good top face of the WWE. Seth Rollins is another guy I enjoy watching. Good to see Punk back, of course. On the AEW side, I like MJF. I think he's a really good talent, very, very good talent. I like what the Hurt Syndicate's doing right now.
Amen. Oh my God, yes.
They're very good. I think. I hope they continue to remain such a strong force in AEW.
It's a faction. Okay, so I'm going to cut you off again because now we're getting into my area of just like nerdism of professional wrestling. I love talking storylines. I like talking just all of it. So the Hurt Syndicate for the first time in AEW, and this is no disrespect to anyone in AEW. I hate when people get all mad like, oh, you're criticized. No, I'm not an E drone. I'm nothing like I like wrestling. But the Hurt Syndicate's the first time like an actual faction has felt like a threat to the company. It actually feels like these guys are there to kind of like, no, we're taking over. We're they haven't really said that, but the Hurt Syndicate actually feels that way.
It's good to and to be honest, I love those kinds of factions, the ones that are really like dominant, like Evolution. I'm a Ruthless Aggression era kid, so I grew up around the time of Evolution.
I'm sorry, no, I'm just kidding.
Triple H and Ric Flair and Batista, Randy Orton. I mean, the way that from the way they dressed to the way their demeanor was, their attitude, like you could see, like they meant business, like real business. And the way that they told that story of Triple H and Batista, that trilogy, man. Was money. It really was. The way they told that story was really well done, and one of my favorite angles. Storyline.
Interesting. Sorry, Ruby, I kind of took over.
No, you're good. No, because I was just looking at a couple other things here. So, but going real quickly back to WrestleMania 22. I mean, he's talking about Austin and KO.
WrestleMania 22 actually hit on all cylinders, so he's not wrong. Like that's one of the, I don't know. That's when it felt like real that wrestling was coming back finally. Like we're actually getting fans. We're getting, some of that stuff was already there, but like that was. So I'm with him. I can understand why that would be the injection of like, this is the route I'm going. No questions asked. Like,
it was a huge. Were you there for both nights? Stanley?
I was there for night one, and I also went to Mania in Philadelphia last year for night one as well. So I got to see The Rock wrestle with take on Cody and Seth. That was a good match as well. But getting to see Austin and Rock live, I mean, there's nothing like it in the world. There really isn't.
Yeah. I've seen them both, so I feel that.
Yeah, it was funny. No, but wasn't night one where back at WrestleMania 38 when you went, was that the return of Cody when he faced Seth?
Yeah.
I could have swore that was night one. I mean, talk about a freaking wow. I bet you that place came unglued when
it did. Like the pyro, I think there were rumblings about him re-signing, and the fact that the pyro went off, like there was like silence, like dead silence for like I want to say like 2 to 3 minutes after Seth had made his way to the ring, and
Yeah.
people were wondering because remember I believe it was like a mystery opponent. Like Seth was gonna have a match
Right.
at WrestleMania. It was a mystery opponent. He didn't know who he was gonna wrestle, so there was like 2 to 3 minutes of dead silence. All of a sudden, this pyro goes off, and the arena just cuts to black. And then right
Okay.
there, Cody's music hits, and the
Let's-
fans just jumped. I still have like a phone recording of that. Like that's how incredible that pop was when Cody came out.
That's something to treasure, by the way, and keep. Somehow keep that. Do not lose that.
No,
That's history.
So my return is Awesome Kong showing up for the Royal Rumble in St. Louis when my wife, dude, I was screaming so hard. It was Karma, actually, in WWE, but I'm a huge Awesome Kong fan. So when she showed up at the Rumble,
he definitely, along with Gail Kim, in my opinion, helped put the knockouts on the map. Like,
100%. Like,
you
no
had
questions asked.
people,
The beautiful people. Yeah, Victoria when she went over there. Mickey James when she was there.
like the knockouts were really, I feel like they paved the way for what we see now in modern wrestling with the women being used in WWE and in AEW. Really helped, set the tone for that. So I think they were really they took women's wrestling to a new level.
I could actually pretty much almost agree with that. Gail Kim said in a tweet or a podcast, I can't remember which one it was, that she said the women's revolution of professional wrestling started in TNA, and I would almost want to argue with that as being the fact. Because
now, I mean, I will say I also enjoyed the Divas era and the women in the Divas era before that, with the Trishas and the Litas and the Jackies and 100% because I feel like, they also were trailblazers, pioneers with what they were able to do. So I got to give them their credit as well.
you can never take it away from the queens that started it all.
No.
That's why Medusa's still one of my favorite professional wrestlers of all time.
Mm-hmm. She's a good one, man.
Yeah, and we got to meet her, and Ruby can tell you I was dang there in tears. Like one of my female heroes in professional wrestling standing in front of me, and we had a great conversation.
That's awesome. It's always good to meet people that you admire and look up to, and that experience could never be duplicated.
Oh no.
So talking about unforgettable experiences. So as long as you've done this, obviously you have many stars that have come across. Whether it be the story that's that as far as like what they do for their community or something that were they given, or just the flat out fact that you were just probably starstruck. Who has been the one? Actually, I will say this: who is the guest that you've had that you feel that you've gotten starstruck by, and why have you singled that one out of the guests that you've had so far?
I've had so many great people to do my show so far in the 2.5 years since I've started Wrestling with Heart. But probably the one that I've been the most starstruck that I've had on so far is Teddy Long. I was a huge
Me and Teddy are throwing down in 6 weeks. I'm telling you that right now.
I was a fan as general manager of SmackDown. I got to meet him several times. And actually, I was at WrestleCade a couple of years ago as a vendor, and he was right next to me. Him and Mac Davis, who's
Max
nice. Mac's a great guy.
Yep, and I had him on the show as well. So getting to talk with Teddy and talk about what he was able to do with Teddy Long Day back when he was, I believe he was working with WCW, but I believe he was doing some stuff with kids and helping out in his community, speaking to kids and doing stuff around his area. It was inspiring and motivational. So and getting to talk with him about his time in the business, hearing his stories was really eye opening.
I gotta have a great experience with Teddy Long, so I understand that sentiment.
We know what that. At least I know what that is.
Yeah. Teddy was a good one to. Gerald, I think my biggest. See, we've gotten to meet him, but have you met anyone face to face? Like, gotten to have a.
Oh yeah.
So we at FanFest 1, Ruby's a fan of him for one reason. I'm a fan of him for a different reason because of different eras we grew up in. But Gerald Briscoe popped by our booth, and literally he's like got his arm around me, and my heart's just like like this is one of my like you're the whole reason I like comedy wrestling. Like it's your fault. Like you're the problem. and now Ruby knows that Gerald Briscoe is one of my favorite comedic wrestlers, and that's why I've always loved him.
Oh yeah, the whole Stooges era.
Oh, dude, it was so good. But yeah,
Pat Patterson, that was some good
Who's
stuff.
Okay, Ruby. We've asked him now. I'm gonna throw it to you real quick because this is a good question. I like this question. Who's been yours that like you didn't know if you could contain yourself when we got like the call that we're getting to have this conversation with?
Oh no, I mean, well, one of our favorites, at least one of my favorites, I would think is Dan and B Severn, because because Dan's got a history with one of my good friends, the Searcher, and of course he'll. Whenever he comes around town, him and Searcher are going to be meeting up at some point after the Fan Fest is done. Dan is coming down, and that was actually one of my favorite episodes that we usually kind of keep on our showcase when people visit our YouTube page and it starts playing. So, but having a good conversation with Dan is always good because I'll tell you, he'll tell you the way it is, and he'll make you think outside the box also at the same time. I mean. But no, just to know a guy like that, still wanting to get in, still wanting to do seminars, and still teach, them, still teach those to help improve their in-ring abilities and all that. Even at his, even I will say even at his age. I'm sorry, but I mean I don't know how else to phrase it, but even at his age, he's still doing that, and. No, but Dan's a really good guy too. With that, so So I mean, like I said, that's probably one of our good ones here too. To come by. So, but like I said, who knows? It may. We'll see who else we can bring in 6 weeks.
Right.
During the broadcast. So that kind of having that is pretty cool. So, oh man. Now you had me thinking about it. Now I kind of lost track of where I was here.
My bad.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. So let me ask you here now, because obviously, I mean, I'm a guy who's going to be completing 29 years in the business and starting year 30 here in about a couple weeks. So
Congratulations.
At least it's congratulations and not condolences. But either way, so you kind of started getting, you being a fan of the business, of course, getting in with doing your show. You've actually had an opportunity to maybe participate in a role at a wrestling show. Tell us a little bit more about what you did and about the promotion.
Yeah, so I was connected with a guy named Aaron Camaro who works with a company called CHW, that's Championship Honor Wrestling, out of Ashland City, Tennessee. And I interviewed him for the podcast. And about a few weeks after I had put his episode out, or a couple of weeks maybe before I put it out, he had reached out to me about possibly wanting to be a ring announcer for the promotion. I was like, sure. And so I started in December of 2024, and it's now April. Our next show is on April 19th over at the National Guard Armory in Ashland City. Andy Douglas of TNA, he'll be there, the special guest general manager. And actually, Wrestling with Heart's going to be a sponsor. So looking forward to being a part, not just of me as a ring announcer, but having my podcast out as an official sponsor of the event, trying to get my name out there with the show as well. So I've so far done that. I just recently announced a show in Daleville, Alabama for, I believe the company was NWE. And I did that last month. So it's been very exciting. Honored to be able to do this, and I'm looking forward to many more to come.
Well, I guess I'll kind of follow up with the question for that. Are you looking to do more than just ring announce, do you think, or are you content with where you're at now? Do you see yourself doing anything else in the business, maybe down the road? Or
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to be a commentator down the line. Always thought about that as a potential, even going back to when I was playing with the figures back in the day. I used to tape record myself playing with the figures. So, yeah, I mean, I think that that would be a pretty awesome role, and but I'm just enjoying my experience, and I'm grateful for it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes up.
you're talking about somebody who likes to color commentate. It's my partner over here below me here, who is always trying to throw in all shades of color. In fact, he got the first year when he was doing for like a promotion, and when he first got in, he actually got was it an announcer of the year, or was it rookie of the year?
I got hold on, where is it? I got announcer of the year.
Announcer of the year.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, for a little indie promotion down here in the Midwest. And then I do color commentating for IEW alongside the great Guito.
That's awesome.
And Mike.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, when you get into it, you get into it. Though you gotta put your heart into it.
Oh.
He's like the McAfee of the crew.
Yeah, 100%. And you don't know what's going to come out of my mouth because, like, Guido and them, like, Guido gives me the rundown. Like, this is what we're doing. These are the cards. And I'm like, don't tell me. I don't want to know who. And here's the funny part is I'm even on, like, the creative team at IEW. And even they don't even, like, I don't know the indies. I don't want to be a part of that. Like, I will throw in my tidbits. You guys ask me questions, and then we work together and kind of stuff. But I don't want to know who's going over, and so I can give my truest reaction to the commentating when we're having these matches, because we have a pretty good team at IEW. I like the roster. It's a great bunch of group guys. We're really growing and cultivating the positivity in the local, because positivity is something wrestling misses completely in all aspects of the board. So trying to cultivate a healthy promotion and roster and a stigma is a good thing. But yeah, it's fun. I like to be the sugar on the top. I don't ever care to wrestle. I'm too pretty for that.
The thing about wrestling is that there's rules for anybody, and everyone that wants. You don't have to be a wrestler. You could be a manager or a commentator or an announcer or interviewer. So writer or whatever you want to be, like, there's a role for you. If you don't feel like doing one thing, there's so many other places to go. So I think that's a good thing.
So this is awesome. Actually, you're going to throw me right into a question here. So speaking of roles and like roles being able to be switched, unfortunately, we just came across this Friday night that Kevin Owens had to pull out of Mania, right? I'm going to be the pessimistic Mark fan, and I'm kind of hoping it's a swerve and it's nothing major. But if it is there a person currently on the roster or somebody new potentially coming in that you would like to see Randy compete against? And my question, and the reason I'm asking this is because there's a certain GM that he's RKO'd not once, but twice. Paid for both of those, by the way. He already paid for both of them. We have a perfect lineup for a switch. Would you be opposed to Nick Aldis stepping into the ring against Randy Orton at WrestleMania?
Well, the thing that you have to look at is we have, 2 weeks until WrestleMania?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I feel like Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton, I feel like would be such a great match if you had a proper build. I think Nick Aldis
It still would work.
stepping into the role, I think that requires a good maybe 6 to 8 weeks of build.
Oh, you think?
If
It's done right. I mean, if you want to build something right, you want to give it at least a good number of weeks.
Yeah.
So he's on the right path.
I agree. I'm gonna argue like in AA. So AEW's not wrong with how they do their quick feuds sometimes with some of them, because you have the Bloodline feud's been going on forever. We've been seeing this mixed up with like the Favor and stuff with CM Punk for a good time now. So we have storylines that are quick moving, right? The Kevin Owens Randy storyline was very drawn out, and there's nothing wrong with that. I enjoyed every minute of it. I think by doing the switch up right now and having Nick go, you know what, Randy, I'm going to be your opponent because you can't keep your hands off me, kind of thing. In like the next 2 weeks, just make it go quick.
It'll also depend on if Nick wants to do it.
True.
He may not want to do it.
So do you think it's gonna be? He's gonna think it's Alistair then, or Crow? Not Crow. God dang it, Alistair Black or Malachi?
I'm not sure who it'll be. I know they won't keep Randy Orton off the card. I just feel like it could be. They might send out somebody that's has nothing else going on really for them that's been on the roster just for Randy to wrestle, just to say he has a match.
Because see here, my sidearm booking has clicked in on this one, and it's eating in my skull, my guy. If Randy Nick Aldis at Mania happens, Randy goes over, okay, then we could potentially get what I want so god dang bad to come back at Survivor Series. I want a classic Survivor Series match. And I would like to see it be Raw versus SmackDown again. Okay? Mm-hmm. And if you smell what I'm picking up right now, you have Nick Aldis form a team. You have Adam Pearce form a team. At first, they're not going to be in the match. But, somebody gets hurt, blah, blah, blah. Now Nick has to step in. So Adam steps into the match. Now we have Nick versus Adam. And Nick has to go ask Randy to be the last person to help, be like, hey man, we went to battle, I'm good for it, let's go, and do something like that. I think it'd be a fun storyline for Randy for a little bit, but hey, whatever happens, happened. It was just
obviously that whatever they decide for Randy Orton to do at Mania should be hopefully good. I mean this was just such a last minute change. So they're going to have to find something for Randy to do. Who do I see him feuding with? I just think no one off the top of my head, because I just think that unless you put him out there with like I don't know, Dominic or whoever, they just have Randy just squash someone.
You can't squash Dominic.
I mean, they gotta have somebody. I feel like that's like okay with taking a loss, just so that Randy gets a match. I just don't know. I don't see who else they could put on there, because I think that I feel like to properly build a storyline, you have to give it time. And
agreed.
And I think that for a match like this, I feel like. For Nick Aldis, that's a big deal that he would be wrestling. So I feel like it would be kind of unfair to him to be able to do that. So have Randy Orton go out there, just have a 3 to 5 minute squash against someone, and just pose and do whatever, shake hands with the fans, slap hands. That's what I guess I would say should happen. If, as a fan, that's just kind of my opinion.
I can dig it.
But who says that Randy is going to win? You never know.
Yeah.
Well,
Especially if there's a returning superstar. But a lot of this, I'm getting a feeling though. Let's think about this though with Kevin Owens. Okay, he says that the past 4 months has been hell for him. Okay, have you seen the match he put on in Elimination Chamber against Sami Zayn? I mean, for crying out loud!
that
I
was really
mean,
good. It was incredible.
it was good. It was brutal. He took some severe. Now, if he had neck trouble in the past 4 months, knowing that this match was like 2 months ago, would he have really done that? I mean, when you think about it, I mean,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where you have to really. I don't know. It's like one of those things where you have to really pay attention and figure out, like, go back and watch the promo. Do you feel like this is real or this isn't real? Because when you watch something, like if somebody's about to retire and it's legitimate, it's like, wow, you have to take it in. But if it's a swerve, you can just move on.
Kevin's too good for us to even know.
I mean, you have what, 2.5 weeks until WrestleMania? I mean, it's or less than 2 weeks, so it just remains to be seen. It's a shame that the match isn't going to be taking place, but you can only do what you can do.
I still smell something fishy though.
I agree.
I have to wait until next SmackDown to get a confirmation because Randy can't go into this blind, and I think somehow KO. My senses tell me that KO is going to try to pull something over him, and but like I said, I've known to been wrong before. So
I've
Had a great match with Cody Rhodes at Royal Rumble, and
Oh,
he,
yeah.
what did he go through a set of ladders?
oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean that takes a lot out of you to get all that punishment. I mean that does a lot of wear and tear on your body. I mean,
That was high on the neck too, by the way.
yeah. I mean,
So
I guess the nerd in me, just when I saw the poster that us internet darling fans make, and it was Nick Aldis versus, I'm like, dude, that match would be solid.
yeah, yeah. But the classic Chicago fans, with Kevin going back saying, you're still a poor piece of crap, but that's what Kevin was responding with. So it is what it is. But I think that I don't know. I got to see next Friday's show to kind of see. But
Yeah.
I my gut still tells me KO's going to find a way to get Randy real good right before WrestleMania weekend. Something tells me.
I hope Kevin Owens is okay. I think that would
Yeah,
be
me
a
too.
great match. And fans are wanting to see it, so why not? Hopefully if KO's okay.
Yeah, and I would have thought that his something tells me about that speech though is that I think it would have been more somber or more sincere, honestly, and you don't have Randy coming right out afterwards. As
Right, that
he's
threw me
coming to
off.
the ring. Yeah, so that threw me off. Something tells me like that. That's not really something's not right about that whole speech. It's like you don't want to interrupt somebody's freaking time that they're going to go away with somebody interrupting you. So in my experience in the time of watching these promos and everything else, because it was really serious. We just let them walk to the back, no music, fade to commercial, then come back. That would have really sold me. So, but I'm not sold on this. So there's many reasons for that. My goodness. So, um, yeah. So, kind of tell us on some of, like you said, Weekly Wrestling with Hard. You're into what? How many episodes now? About just shy of like 190, right?
Yeah, like 181, I believe, was the last one. So we've got more content coming out. I just interviewed Soraya, who just left AEW the other day, and she's got a new book out. So it was a pleasure getting to speak with her. look out for that one. I've got some other interviews lined up in the coming weeks, and yeah, I'm just like I said, I'm just trying to grow the podcast. I eventually want to do a lot with it, and hope we can start growing it. And I'm actually going to let me plug this. This coming Saturday, April the 12th in Nashville, I will be at this event called Rockin' Pod, which is a podcast convention. It is a music podcast convention, but they also have other content creators that are going to be there. I will be there as a vendor. Come on out. It starts at, I believe, 11 a.m. at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Hollywood from Glow, who I also had the chance of interviewing. She also just put out a new book. She'll be there as well. So come on out and see us. We'd love to have you there. Appreciate the support. And we're all on Facebook. If you put in Wrestling with Heart with Stanley Karr, type it there, find us, give us a like, and share it with your friends. We're on Instagram at Wrestling with Heart, on Threads also at Wrestling with Heart. We are on Blue Sky at wrestlingwithheart.bsky.social, and we're on YouTube at Wrestling with Heart with Stanley Karr. Hit the subscribe button. We want to increase our numbers of subscribers, so I appreciate the support. And we're on all podcast platforms. We're on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Excellent. One major question is even for somebody who's even been in broadcasting or have done broadcasting work over years, and they're looking to maybe grow or somehow to improve their skills, somehow to get their brand out there, to build their brand and find a way to market that a lot bit better. Is there any particular like convention, I'm sure you've probably been to like several conventions, but is there one convention that singles out that will somebody like me, or that's kind of been around, or even somebody that's new coming up like you have getting into the industry for podcasting? Is there any type of convention such as that would help improve with that?
You're talking about just wrestling conventions or any convention?
Well, just about any convention, basically centering on podcasting, to help with marketing yourself.
So I actually just came from Chicago last week. I attended this convention called Podcast Movement, which is a 3 to 4 day conference that's held, I believe, twice a year. And I just went there, networked with some people, and met a few wrestling people there. And they had speakers show up from different places, and they have these breakout sessions. And I was able to attend some of those, take some notes. So go to one of those events because you're guaranteed to meet a lot of people, network, and try to get a lot of information and insights. So that'll help not only with your podcast, but also with knowledge and growing your brand.
Yeah, excellent. And also, like you are, you're on WHIN 100%, 100.7 out of Hendersonville. Um, so what nights usually? I mean, because I know they can, the station can be found online. What nights are you on the air?
I'm on Friday and Saturday nights. So 6 to 11 p.m. on Saturdays, 7 to 11 p.m. on Fridays, Central Time. And also online at WHINradio.com. For the Piano Men, WRFN LP, that is Radio Free Nashville, and Vol State's 88.5 WVCP. I'm on there as well.
Wow. And I guess from one longtime DJ to another, what's your go-to genre of music to listen to get you out of any type, to get you going, to feel good, or something just to get you that good feeling?
So I kind of listen to everything. So like 80s, 70s, 60s, 90s, classic rock or Pop. Those are kind of my go-tos. So
Yeah, I mean, shoot, 80s. Yeah, I know. Like I say, you said Christopher Cross that man. I'm like, oh my gosh, Christopher Cross.
yeah, I mean sailing and
Yeah, all right, ride like the wind. I'm more of a yacht rock type of guy myself. And
yeah.
so you know, yeah, I know, man.
And I'm the funk.
Hey, funk is good too.
Yeah,
I like
some
the funk
good
and the
ones.
blues.
Blues is also good.
That's what I grew up on.
Nice.
Oh man, so but you said this Saturday you're with uh, it's
It's a podcast, rocking podcast, right?
Rockin' Pod, yes.
Rocking pod. It's close.
Rocket Podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, and then you also have the show coming April 19th for
CHW.
That's right, CHW.
They can go find their page on Facebook. It's CHW Pro Wrestling.
CHW Pro Wrestling. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, man. So but before we get you go, anything else you want to touch on that you want to plug, or anything else you got coming up major that you want to let us in on?
Nothing aside from those. Just find us on all the social media pages mentioned before. We're on Facebook at Wrestling with Heart, or Wrestling with Heart with Stanley Karr. Instagram and Threads, both at Wrestling with Heart. Blue Sky, wrestlingwithheart.bsky.social. YouTube, Wrestling with Heart with Stanley Karr. Subscribe, like the page, spread the word. Also on all your podcast platforms. If you're in Nashville, come out to Rockin' Pod Saturday. Going to be a good time. So looking forward to hopefully seeing some of you there.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on here this evening, and I'll tell you what, if you're a big wrestling buff, I mean, I know you got your books lined up, but I'll tell you what, we're looking forward to this SICW Fan Fest. With a lot of major big names coming in from the past, and then of course, I'm hoping to get on with the wrestling show that night too. So
Nice. I do hope to attend one of those in the future. Those look like a lot of fun.
Oh, they're a good time.
Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah, they're a blast. They're a blast, and like I said, our simulcast going there live. I mean, you just never know who's going to be stopping in on our table, and we like I said, we're going to have a four man panel this year, first time ever, and it's going to be nuts. So
Excellent.
yeah, so but no, I'm glad that you got on here, and man, I appreciate the work that you're doing here, and I really like the light that you're shining on, bringing out the best of the quality, what the wrestlers can do to help the communities and everything else. And I'll tell you what, that I really commend you for going that route and just bringing out the best. And like I said, we wish you nothing but more success for you. And then with these stars, we're looking forward to hearing these stories, especially with Saraya coming up here soon. So man, but we appreciate you coming in and taking your time out here, and we definitely, if anybody wants to get on here, if you like with CHW, or if because we like to have fun with our guests here too, kind of talking about their careers here as well, and we're always welcome for anybody who's hardworking in the business and who always wants to grind and do everything positive and not take any BS, and no ego. You got to check your egos at the door, no matter where you go with me. So, but no, we appreciate you coming on, man. And like I said, best of luck to you. And like I said, don't be a stranger. Hit us back up down the road and let us know how you're doing. All right.
Would love to come back. Thank you guys.
All right, man.
Thank
Stanley,
you, bud.
Thank you very much. That's Wrestling with Heart, Stanley Karr, everybody, and you have a good rest of the night, my friend.
All right, you guys as well.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, bro. Yeah. So, hey, great conversation, man. I mean, as far as well, with all these, with all the interviews, I mean, there's some that are short, some that are very lengthy, and but all still very good. I mean, you got to go through that library.
Finally. Yeah, it
So
was cool. I said it was cool to meet Stanley finally. Like I said, I vaguely remember him joining We Talk Wrestling, and we had a couple conversations throughout the We Talk Wrestling stuff. So it was cool to finally get to put a, I guess a face to the picture, I guess, because I never really paid attention. I knew who he was and what he did in the podcast, and then looking over the stuff, like there's that Rene Dupree one, dude. That's a good little interview. Like, highly recommend go listen to that Rene Dupree one. I'm a big fan of Rene Dupree, so when I saw that, I was like, "Well, cool." But yeah, Nathaniel Guerra, what was it?
Nathaniel Grayson. Yeah,
Grayson was on his show, so it's cool that we've touched skins with some of these guys. I wish the best for him.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, we don't. We are. We're okay. I was just trying to make sure I have my tagline in here. But yeah, like I said, there's been a lot that's been happening here. We touched on KO during that interview, and like I said, I still think there's something fishy going on. I mean,
that's what I initially thought when I saw it. I was like, this just doesn't seem right. Like,
right.
I mean, now they're like, 2 to 5 years, KO are going to be out, supposedly, like the dirt sheets, but it still just doesn't. I'm not saying it can't happen. We've seen wrestlers actually go out, but
honestly, if you're going to be out for 5 years, why don't you just retire? I mean, because we know that he's done it for 25 years. He's in his 40s. I mean, to build himself back up from that, he might as well just hang it up, bro. I'm just saying. And there's nothing wrong with that, because the heck, he's been Universal Champion. He's had a major, like, he's had one of the major titles, for a good length of time,
Yeah,
and,
Kevin, like, he's special, bro.
I mean, hell,
And Shawn Michaels came back. He came back from a career-ending back injury, and was supposed to do one match. Ended up doing 3 or 4 years straight of just bangers. So, I mean, it potential is there, and if he takes care of his body, and I think he does, we could see him back. But it's Kevin Owens. I smell a rat.
I do. And then people are like, "Yeah, you're a real piece of shit. You thought you were done," But
I'm just telling you. I'm telling you right now, with all the fan speculation and how the internet wrestling community went to haywires, and I 100% went sidearm booking. I'm totally cool with Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton. I didn't even know that was on my bucket list matches I wanted to watch.
I know, right? I know.
So,
So with that being said, because we're going back on SmackDown, and we're also going.
The favor got put in.
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
the favor finally,
and it's causing some dissension for sure. So let's just kind of do a quick tag on that real quick. Favor, and let me go.
Raw was pretty standard this week, though. So I don't think there's much we need to talk about Raw.
Oh yeah, no, I know right there. So let's talk about this here. So the favor reveal, turmoil ensues as CM Punk's favor is to rip Paul Heyman away from Roman Reigns, his tribal chief, to put him in his corner. And we've seen many reels. We're going back to 2013, where Paul's like, it's going to be me in your corner at the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this is long term.
Simpleton here was like, he wants to be a world champion again. He's got to find a way to get in that world title match. Nope. He's using this favor to yank Paul Heyman away from Roman Reigns.
The cool thing about this whole thing is Cody promoted that once he took the belt off of Roman, that Solo was going to leave him, that Jay and Jimmy were going to leave him, that Heyman was going to leave him, and it would just be Roman left standing. Now we fast forward to this year's WrestleMania. Punk, with his favor, legitimately has that in play.
Yeah.
Roman has nobody.
Yeah.
Roman has nobody.
And yeah, so he's got nobody in his corner. There's no help, nothing at all. Where, you know, he had his bloodline a year ago, and you know, he had Jacob Fatu, he had Solo, and I don't,
There was no Jacob Fatu.
oh, right, yeah, no,
Yeah, Jimmy and Jay, it's Solo and Sammy.
Well, he had Jimmy. He had well, yeah, but even with that, I mean, there were still things shaking up over there too, because I had to go back and watch last year's WrestleMania to see exactly who was bloodlining, but Solo was for sure.
Yeah.
So Solo, The Rock, and maybe like one other, maybe I don't know, maybe Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy for sure, because Jimmy and Jay battled at WrestleMania.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, to one of the worst matches.
Yeah, one of the worst matches, and probably the worst match of that weekend. So, yeah, you can work tag together, but you can't face each other. So
I don't. I'm curious now on how Seth really plays out. Do we see? Because they're you know, once again, the internet world wants to see Paul turn on both of them and join Seth. Which, does Seth need that? And that's a joke in this moment.
Why would you put two guys together that have great mic skills?
Okay, time out. We could have said that. We said that a long time ago when Punk and Paul got put together, and we all just ate that shit up.
Oh, that's right.
Because that was literally one of ever. Like, I remember the internet when that happened. We're all like, "What the hell? Punk and Paul are together? These two both can talk." No, I'm curious to see how that all plays about.
I know exactly. So I don't know. So it's man. I'm telling you now, though. That would be like a mate. Are they trying to go for like the major like turn? They're trying to do like another major turn. They're trying to do like a big main event turn at a Mania. And the last one that I could recall that was a heel turn was Austin turning on The Rock and taking help from Vince McMahon at WrestleMania 17.
Yeah. Still one of the most goofy. I mean, I actually like the ending. I can't say that.
Yeah, because Jim Ross is a reason for that. Because that was Stone Cold's buddy, and he just went ballistic over the airwaves. Yeah. He sold his soul to the devil himself. You know, it's like
That was good. I speaking of that, I like how like Michael Cole and Wade Barrett here lately have been like standing up to call some of the matches and stuff, and like put extra like what was it? Cole on Monday like stood there and like was like somber and like talking about something, but he was standing the whole time. Did it because of what happened? Because he was like taken away. The little touches right now that WWE keeps doing. WWE is really focusing on the little aspects of professional wrestling to making it this whole experience. I'm pretty in with it. Like, who would have thought? When Punk kept talking, I'm like, oh, he's putting Punk as the ref, or not Punk. Paul's the ref. He's putting Paul as the ref. Paul's gonna have to count the three. That's initially what I
imagine. Paul came out of a suit into today's WWE officiating.
No, Paul would have had to show up in a suit ref outfit. If Paul ever was a referee, that dude needs to be in a pinstripe ref suit. Don't shake your head at me.
He looked like somebody working from like an office supply company.
I mean, I literally said if it's true in Seth Rollins, if Paul joins Seth,
yeah,
that's literally the Joker meeting the Penguin in WWE. If you ask me, those two would be evil doers together. Like Seth's done some despicable things. People forget that. People forget how far Seth will go to win a match. Like that guy's dirty.
Oh yeah.
You put him with arguably the dirtiest manager promoter in the business, man. That's a concoction for an evil destruction.
Shoot. Oh man. Yeah. So I would think. I mean, there's gonna be some. I mean, if anything else, that would be the turn that would actually capsize Austin siding with McMahon and screwing The Rock over, as corporate and doing the power trip and everything else. Because think about it, Paul has already been ripped away from Roman, and Roman was a favorite, which I don't know. To me, real quick, does it seem like Roman is too arrogant right now in his mics over the mic? He seems like
100%.
more arrogant.
100%.
I don't know if I like that though.
I don't know who I was talking to. I think I might have been talking to you on the headset or somebody on the headset because I was watching SmackDown. But I said to think that that Roman Reigns went from one of the worst promos of all time, and now the dude can throw down some of the best lines in professional wrestling when it comes to on the microphone. Just shows a testament of that man's his dedication. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I did get cooked by John Cena too. We have cooked by John Cena, yeah. So another thing here on that I'm kind of worried about because we're mentioning Bloodline and stuff here earlier tonight. Jacob Fatu finally winning that last man standing match, which was a barn burner against Braun Strowman. I mean, those guys.
Can we watch it again?
Yeah.
This was really good.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was for the number one contendership for the United States title and getting the shot at WrestleMania. So, we've been seeing these backstage promos and vignettes with Solo and with Tama, and we're still not getting any truer answer here. So, I guess big question here is, will the Bloodline back up Jacob Fatu when it comes to WrestleMania 41, or is there some other agenda on the mind for Solo? That's
dude. I think Solo's going to try to check Jacob.
You think he's going to kind of block him from his getting this succeeding in this opportunity?
Correct. Yeah, he's getting checked.
he's not getting that title, bro.
Yeah, you ain't. No, not happening.
Man.
Do we see a new Samoan joining the table, or is it still going to be the two with Jacob? But yeah, I don't. If Jacob goes through and wins, I'm gonna be happy. Actually, I'm gonna be ecstatic because I think Jacob Fatu would be a better choice than LA Knight, personally, business-wise. But the storyline that could be told outside of that, with Jacob getting a Samoan spike to the throat, the potential of somebody joining the family on his side intrigues me a lot.
Yeah, so
hypothetic.
Well, you would think something would come of this, with a new member to the Bloodline, because we haven't really heard much about the Bloodline because, with Roman winning the whole tribal combat, and he's the only tribal chief. We haven't seen a Solo mentioning the words tribal chief here lately. Just you know, but he still wants to be the leader. But like I said, everybody's been having their separate intros. Thomas had their separate intro. Jacobs had their separate intro. They've all had their separate intro. So, it almost leads me to believe that the bloodline is done. So, I mean, that's what leads me to believe. Maybe I'm baited into believing that. Who knows? More Samoan Dynasty superstars coming down the pike at WrestleMania. I could possibly see that.
I'm open to it, but I think there's just more on the table for it all to come back together. Right now, we saw like the distribution of it all, and we're gonna see it come full circle eventually. Like when Jimmy starts winning titles because he deserves it, because that guy is a gem and a half. Like Jim be throwing down stars and nobody's giving him the recognition for it. And then Roman, I mean, we're going to have to see them all come back together eventually in some form or fashion. There's more to this bloodline storyline than being told, because The Rock just kind of dissipated. We left so much on the table. So yeah, they're coming back around to it eventually.
Yeah, I mean that's we haven't seen Rock since Elimination Chamber, when he wanted that answer, when he wanted Cody's soul, and Cody politely told him to go fornicate himself, and
Travis Scott slapped the Jesus out of Cody.
No. And for that dude to not show back up since then, dude, that gets on my nerves so bad. I so hope that Travis Scott shows up at WrestleMania to mess around with giving help to John Cena, and he gets caught red-handed, and he gets blasted over his freaking right eye, bro. I don't care. No, so it'd be left eye, because Cody would jack him with the right. So, yeah. Yeah, you got some shine coming your way, Travis Scott. You punk. That's bull crap.
Dude,
you gotta earn some bones in this business to be thrown down like that. That's bull crap. I don't care who you are or who you think you are.
He's been working with Booker T though.
Oh well, get his ass kicked at ROH. So or ROW, whatever, Reality of Wrestling. Get your ass handed to you there, Travis. That's
so
bull crap.
Let's jump over to NXT real quick, because there's a big turn of events out of NXT. How do you feel about Shawn Spears already losing the title to Ricky Starks?
Yes, thank you for bringing this up. My God. Okay, so thank you very much for this. Okay, there's nothing with Ricky Saints. I get it. The guy's good. I mean, he's money. But to get from his official signing to winning that North American Championship, getting his first... Okay, first off, you don't single-handedly freaking dismantle a faction that's supposed to be showing their dominance, especially with one guy who's got no help. To me, that makes absolutely no sense. They basically killed that faction last Tuesday. I'm sorry. Ricky Saints or not, you don't. I mean, especially, I'm telling you what, I am a bigger fan of Shawn Spears. I will go on record for that, because as much as that guy has done to try to go through the mill as Ty Dillinger, and then to go over to AEW, then work in the Indies, and try to be the workhorse, be a major workhorse in this industry, and then to get that title, and then to have some skinny 200-pound guy who does a freaking pose and freaking walks the rail old school style with some type of dance. I mean, come on, bro. I mean, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? I don't get that. That's probably the worst booking that they did Tuesday. And nothing to get. He has to build himself up. You just can't drop the title like that.
I'm
not a fan. No.
I'm a huge Ricky Saints fan. I love Ricky Starks, but I was more happy when Ethan was at the end hitting.
Yes, that's what probably that was the same Grayson Law because I was so pissed. I was like, "Damn right, Ethan, knock him out."
Yeah, I don't understand why we built up Sean and them were doing so good, and then Ricky just dismantles this whole. That was a good little group. I was like, okay, it's gonna be a slow burn. I'm digging it. I'm liking the pieces that are slowly being put together, but to make it go out so fast, I was confused. We'll see. I'll have to see. I'm not against it. I'm not opposed.
I need to get, and I need to get the proper word for this other faction that they're showing dominance. That's basically hovering over the family. The dark. Is it the Dark Order? No, not the Dark Order. It's something else.
I don't remember now. God dang it.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't want to say that. I mean, because if you know the guys in the faction, I don't want to just say like dark something else, you know. And
NXT.
Yeah, I'm right here too. So.
Dark State.
Thank you. The Dark State. They're giving these guys a lot of major push, and I'm wondering if they're putting all the, and they're putting the family up front, and like the Culling is more of a heel faction, so they're putting them on the back burner already.
I mean, that could be. I'll be okay with that if that's the case. I'm kind of digging the Dark State stuff. We finally get to see them this week, in the ring.
Yeah.
So there is that.
Yeah, we finally do. But I like the package they put together as far as like getting the 411.
The D'Angelo family.
Yeah,
that stuff was cool as hell, dude.
Yeah, so that was good. Kind of putting them in the limelight as far as who they actually are.
Underneath me.
Oh, yeah! Don't roll back.
My cat rubbed my leg, and I'm like, I didn't see anything. It scared me. It startled me.
Yeah, you never know when them cats are gonna be popping up, bro.
The D'Angelo family with the breakdown, asking Stacks to trust him. Do you trust me, Stacks? Like all that was. Evolve did something else crazy too for me this week. They had Stacks, and then what's the other guy? Do you remember his name?
Crucifano. No, that is. I forgot who.
Yeah, I know what we're talking about, but he's on Evolve right now, and he just took a pinfall. I can't remember who he got pinned by, but like, why would you try to build him up if you're going to? It's confusing. Oh well, whatever. Shit goes on.
Yep. And
I think that's all from there.
Well, there is one other thing here, and I'm kind of sad.
What you got? Okay.
I am a little sad. My number one in the women's division right now, Stephanie Karr, had to vacate the women's North American Championship, and I knew that was going to be coming. She would. I said I'll be lucky if if she carries it for more than 30 days, but they did it the right way. And apparently, they're going to be crowning a women's North American champion at Stand and Deliver, and also another big match announced at Stand and Deliver is the NXT Championship with Obafemi, Trick Williams, and Javon Evans.
Let's go. That match is gonna be sick.
Yeah, so that's.
But Stephanie on that with Stephanie, she gets to pick her opponent. Who's she gonna pick?
Right, that's right, and that's why it's like, to me, I'm seeing I really don't want to see a triple threat because we already have a triple threat for the NXT Championship. Let's just have a one-on-one showdown between Stephanie Karr and Jordan Grace. How's that?
I could see that. Okay, I'm down with that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, as far as like some of the other matches that are going to be building for Stand and Deliver as well. I don't know. I would say maybe Ethan Page comes after Ricky Saints for Stand and Deliver.
I mean, can we talk about what he did for TNA? Or did you watch TNA?
Oh, I saw photos, but I did not see the actual footage.
Ethan Page is going for the TNA title. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah, at Rebellion.
Oh, so he's fighting Joe Hendry.
Yes.
Wow, that would be something here too, because we're always wondering which company is going to take the other company's title, from which one, you know?
I mean, I still want it to be TNA to take a WWE title, but
right? Oh, bear with me a minute here, guys. Whoa. I'm drying out. As you see, I'm drying out. Oh. No, but yeah, because they're there for Rebellion. And also in TNA, Digital Media Championship gone, brother.
yes, the international title is set. How can Sami Callihan, by the way, just convince God dang it, Santina to just switch his matches? Like, get out of here. I can't stand Sami Callihan.
Maybe I mean, have you seen that guy in person? You wouldn't want to deal with him either. Probably, I don't know.
That guy's
one way or the other. He just doesn't want to deal with Sami Callihan. So,
I'm not a fan of Sami Callihan.
No, man.
He needs to go sell big pads with Callihan.
And I guess we're gonna have to try at some point watch a rerun of AEW Dynasty that was on tonight. So we missed 5 hours of AEW wrestling.
I have one complaint already, and I've already posted it on the internet.
Mercedes Moné one?
I could care less about that.
Oh, that's what
it's not really a complaint. It's just I'm tired of the double standard stuff. Okay?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. A few years ago, probably about 5 to 7 years ago, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The internet wrestling community and everybody was complaining that WWE would have these hour-long pre-shows and wrestlers were getting bumped to the pre-show and all that, right? They complained about it all the time. Why are people in today praising AEW for bringing back a wrestler on their pre-show? Anthony Bowen, I am super happy to see him back in wrestling. Because I love Anthony Bowens, great wrestler. I truly believe he should be a star. Like, a company should build around him as a pillar, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But they brought him back to challenge Max on a pre-show on 0 Hour.
That makes no sense at all. Makes no sense at all.
It hurts. Like, I'm not against 0 Hour. I'm not against wrestling being on.
That's the wrong place
pre-show.
To do it.
It's just like that could have been a cool Collision moment. That could have been a cool Dynamite moment. It didn't have to happen, right? Like they did him dirty, in my opinion.
I think so.
He did get a huge pop, though. He got a massive pop. So whatever, I'm down with that. Because once again, I love Anthony. I love Anthony Bowen. I think he's an amazing wrestler. He was the better of the two in the Acclaim, in my opinion. But to bring him back on a 0 Hour and the double standard about it just irritates me. And I'm not no E-drone. I don't care. I watch whatever promotion I want to watch at that time. So that's my only bummer. I was like, I am pretty happy with the Hurt Syndicate. So I'm looking excited at there's been some couple of big blows in the AEW shakeup.
Yeah.
FTR turned on Edge.
Oh.
And beat him down. So that's awesome.
That's Cope. You can't.
Whatever.
Cope with it,
I don't
man.
care. Cope. My bad. So Cope got beat up by FTR, and they didn't win their trios match. And then MJF helped the Hurt Syndicate retain their tag team championships.
Interesting.
And then another one is the Bay walked out TNT champion, but I didn't care. So.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Who cares?
But no, like I'm pretty excited with the MJF Hurt Syndicate thing because MVP's been trying to recruit him. Bobby hasn't wanted it to happen, and I'm really liking that storyline. So.
Wow. Yeah. So.
FTR I kind of saw though. I kind of saw that coming.
Yeah. Well. I would be interested to see, but I don't see it with if you're going to do something big or like with a return, don't do it on a pre-show. They got a 1 hour pre-show and then a 4 hour main pay-per-view, and you know they stretch those 5 hours as much as possible. You mean to tell me they couldn't bump anything else back to the pre-show, or maybe took, or made room for that? That makes no sense, bro. Absolutely none. God, who's booking this crap? Never mind. It's Tony. My little wrestler, I can do it.
I'm telling you, I love AEW. Don't get me wrong. So I'm not against it, but
yeah,
sometimes it's confusing. Some of the things that get done.
So you're telling me, man. You were telling me, but. Well, we'll try. I'm going to look back on that, but also, you know what I'm also excited about for next week. It's been long awaited because we had a schedule. Because thanks to Mother Nature screwing us up the first time.
Let's go, Evan Gold.
Yep. So episode number 188 is coming back here with Evan Golden on for next Sunday, and we are stoked to have him back, and we'll be in touch with them probably within the next couple of days to make sure we get things, dot some I's, cross some T's, make sure everything's all in line, and we're going to have Evan Golden next week for episode number 188 of the Falls Count Everywhere podcast. Same channels, same bat time, and
hey, now let's go win us a car in GTA.
All right, exactly. So. Thanks for putting up with my freaking sniffling, coughing, sneezing, aching, grumpy fits, and
What was that commercial? I forgot.
That's what I've been taking all day. Dayquil. I've been taking shots of that like every 3 hours, and nothing still works. Oh man. But that's guys, funny. We do thank you very much for joining us here once again. Scan that QR code to follow us everywhere. We're going to be coming back with our shirts and everything else. Just look for new links there. And next week's going to be a lot of fun. So Z, any other last thoughts, man?
Hey, don't forget ACW this Friday night over there. Where are you guys at again?
West Plains, Missouri.
West Plains, Missouri. IEW Passover, Granite City, Illinois. Come see us. Until then, you have a good one, guys.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. And what a way to bring in my 50th birthday. Where's my title? Oh, there it is. Nice. See you guys.
Have a good night. Champion of the world, guy. My hero.